episodes make us think of solutions. Now our world is an episode of not epidemic, but pandemic of COVID-19. This also make all the people, especially the common people, think of the solutions. Not only the common people, all over the world, the country heads, the governments, so-called think parts, thinking of the solutions. But rather than thinking of the solutions, now it is doubtful whether the world is focusing on the problem itself. The COVID-19 started around in November in China. All over the world, the people were thinking, okay, let it contain in China itself. Slowly it spread to the many parts of the world. Now it becomes a pandemic. We know the World Health Organization under the United Nations is giving us the slogan of sustainable development. And these sustainable development models adopted by many countries failed, and that is the reason even when a virus is attacking, we are not able to resist the virus collectively as one family, as Homo sapiens. We divide the territories, we divide the people between classes. Now this COVID-19 become a most dreadful situation all over the world, and most of the countries have taken very effective measures and steps to control the pandemic. It's really appreciable the governments all over the world taken these steps. But at the same time, some of the thoughts came to the mind of many common people. I am also sharing with you is that according to the World Health Organization statistics, around 8 million people die of tobacco usage. Around 7 million because of the direct use of the tobacco, and 1 million indirect users. Around 22,000 children die all over the world because of poverty per day. If all the governments of the countries, if they take 1 by hundreds of the step what they have taken for the COVID-19 prevention, the care and the precautions, give for the people who are affected by the poverty and many other problems of the world and tobacco usage, etc. These problems this mortality can be easily controlled. Why we are not able to do that? Is it so difficult for the world to feed these children who are dying with poverty? This is not affected to the higher class. That is why these things are least bothered by the so-called governing bodies of the world, maybe. Yet it is not a blame game. We are also part of the body because we live in a democratic country. We have to understand one thing. To stop the tobacco production and to contain that pandemic, simple decisions of the government to stop the manufacture and distribution is more than enough. Why we are not able to take such decisions to save the people? According to the United Nations statistics again, 80% age of the usage of tobacco are from underdeveloped countries and common or below average people. Are we really classifying people? But viruses and bacteria like COVID or any other pathogens, they are not least bothered about these classes. Similar is the case with cancer or many other diseases also. Are we taking enough measures to prevent cancer all over the world? The food that is distributing all over the world is getting polluted by pesticides and many other dangerous elements that is causing very serious consequences. And as we all know, the adverse drug reactions caused by the prescribed medicines itself becomes the fourth major cause of death in the world. The first and second major cause of the death, we know it's heart disease and the stroke. And are we not really causing people to have the heart disease and stroke by our rules for the sake of the rules, not for the life and health of the people? It is high time for each and every one of us, each and every one of the human beings to stand strongly for the life and life in its fullness. We all have to be pro-life, thinking, talking, advocating for the life in its richness. And this richness can be brought to the whole world by providing proper education to the people. Our education system, are we creating a proper awareness of healthy living? This is a major concern. We are teaching and we are forcing the generations to study something. Now it is an era of information technology, and the technologies have developed so much that most of the informations are in our fingertips, but still we force the generations to by heart many of those things which really are not relevant to their lives, overburdening the children and the generation, the present generation, with such things, and the comparison many times yield to another major cause of death amongst our generation, that is suicide. Most of these suicide matters can be prevented by adopting a proper education system in our countries. And now, not least but one of the most important, the whole world is stricken by different forms of terrorisms. We know terrorism by some groups, but there are different unproclaimed terrorisms, different forms of terrorisms in the name of wrong medicines, in the name of wrong treatments, in the name of creating fear among the people, in the name of distributing peacelessness to the world, and thereby high stress and creating lot of diseases. The solution, it is high time to think of the solutions. All governments have to be one with the United Nations and with World Health Organization to reject the use of tobacco and completely ban tobacco manufacturing and distribution all over the world. And also, one of the major cause of other disease is abuse of the drugs. These matters also can be controlled easily if the governments under one umbrella of the United Nations and WHO take the decision not to think of the extra income out of these taxes, extra taxes levied on these particular products. All the governments, please be aware of these extra taxes and income that you are gathering and you are spending for the healthcare system is gathered on the cost of the health and life of the common people. I really, not I alone, but on behalf of every common man, every underprivileged people, every child that is deprived of food and medical facility and education, I request, beg all the governments, all the administering bodies, all the companies, drug manufacturers, everybody to join in hand, and let us think of a world that going back to the mother nature and in living in communion with, in harmony, in peace is the best solution to all these problems, even COVID-19 or any novel corona or any such pathogens. Thank you all.